Hello guys and welcome to GosuCup Southeast Asia number 4. We are again bringing you the broadcast and coverage of the semi and grand finals here. Just like last week, I'm joined by my dear colleague Nomlix from GosuGamersNet, the coverage overlord of the Hearthstone section, the guy that watches all the Hearthstone that happens, including the Southeast Asian scene apparently now. So, Nomlix, how are you doing today, mate?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm happy again to be here casting with you for hopefully some awesome matches.
Yeah, I guess there will be some awesome games I think coming right now. The first match will actually be Neilyo against Exclusiveeee, as you can see on the overlay. The other semi-final will be between Zadkiel and Stas, one of the most prolific Filipino players. But we'll get to this later. We are just waiting for the guys to select their classes. We will let you know what classes they've picked, and then we can jump straight into the games. But until then, if you're a Southeast Asian player watching this, make sure to just hop on GosuCup.com to the Hearthstone section, sign up for the upcoming events. We are giving away $500 and 52 World Championship points every Saturday. So if you're a player from this region, this is probably the easiest and most convenient way to actually bang Hearthstone points for the World Championship. There will be 16 cups in total. We are in the 4th now, so 12 more to go. Every Saturday it starts at 1 p.m. Singaporean time, so it's quite convenient. We usually run for about 8 rounds or something, so by the time it's evening you'll be done, and if you're victorious you'll just grab some money, go to dinner, happy. I think that they've started. The Neilyo and Exclusive have started already. I'll just ask what their classes are and we can jump right in. So Banks has Mage Druid. Banks, I mean Exclusive, has Mage Druid and Warlock. But we'll jump right in. Come on.
Watch your back.
So for the first game we have the Druid versus Rogue matchup. In general, it's hard to tell which deck is favored in this matchup. A good Druid start can overrun the Rogue, but stuff like Zap or similar things can give the Rogue so much tempo that the Druid can't keep up.
Yeah, I think there have been different schools of thoughts on who is favored here, and really it turns out to be a 50-50 most of the time, at least in high-level professional games. I'm actually going to pull some stats from our section. Actually, Druid, if you look at it, is actually at 62% win rate against Rogue, which is weird because, as you said, it does seem like a more equal matchup, I guess. If you draw Innervates, if you draw Wild Growths, as we see in this case, the Druid can really punish and pull off a lot of damage. But wow, getting Nutpeggle here, now that's going to be interesting, because Nutpeggle is usually a crap card, but if you get it for free, that's a whole other matter. And the Druid does like to get more draws because there are limited draw engines. Usually it's Ancients of War and Druid in Azure Drakes, right?
The only problem about his current situation is he didn't get the ramp, so he didn't have the Wild Growth early, and he had to use the Innovate to get his 4-drop out, so now his curve is kinda hard, because without the turn 4 play as a Druid, you can really start struggling if you can't keep up with what the Rogue plays here.
Would you have would you have kept the innervate until later and maybe, you know, play a couple of empty turns at the start, play a normal turn for Pilot Shredder, and then maybe save the innervate for next turn Ancient of Lore? Or is it just this giving too much time for the rogue to put pressure on you?
I think the innovate is much stronger if you use it earlier, so that's the main point of using it there. So. And he still has the turns where he hopes for drawing some other plays for the future turns, so I think it worked out better. It would long term work out better to innovate early, just because it's the stronger tempo play, but now with that Blade Flurry clearing the board, and the druid starts to struggle to deal with the Violet Teacher tokens, which is a real problem because without a swipe he can't keep up with all that stuff and he starts falling behind.
Yeah, I guess like he's really drawing his deck backwards, because now we see he gets the Shades, he gets the Zombie Charge, and you really want to have these cards early in the game just because so he can fend off the early minions by the rogue. I mean, he will try to heal here, or, I mean, try to draw cards here and maybe find a solution like swipe or something. But it's already having a lot of damage coming from the rogue player. I mean, there's 9 on the board.
He has to trade the Shade just to not fall too far behind. And the rogue has had a really strong hand and curve this whole game, like with the early Teacher producing tokens, and then the Drake as follow-up. And now he also already has a lot of burst in his hand.
And he gets the sap for the big minions. Oh, he plays a Gadget Zone. We haven't seen Gadget Zone in Oil Rogues for quite some time now, and I know people are split on this. I've seen who was using this? Orange, I think. Orange likes to use a Gadget Zone in his Rogue decks, but it's really not a common practice. How much Rogue do you play, and where do you stand on the Gadget Zone thing in Rogues?
Well, I play a lot of Rogue, or I used to play a lot of Rogue, like with Oil Rogue being, at least in my opinion, kind of worse than before now. I feel like the Gadgetzan is something which can get you even more ahead if you're already winning. Like, if you get a good Gadgetzan turn off, you're so far ahead because you're drawing so many cards, and if your opponent can't deal with it, it's even worse. But the main problem about it is that if you are behind, for 6 mana, the Gadgetzan does nothing. You need, for a 6 mana Gadgetzan, you need it with a preparation, or else you're just falling too far behind, and the rogue has already lethal. Because he got to play the early pressure and then just got the damage in.
I guess in this sense, Druid and Rogue are very similar classes. Like, they can win big or lose big, but in generally, if you get a good early start, like the Druid, if he gets his Rams, and if the Rogue gets his early Violet Teacher, there's not really much you can do about it, just because they continue to grow the board and they continue to barrage you with damage, and you're kind of like on the back foot. I still don't know what classes have Neilyo has.
It's really hard for the Druid to keep up against the Rogue, which got ahead, because it's just, it doesn't have the good mechanics to bounce back into a game other than like a huge innovate turn or something like that, because it just can't clear the board as efficient as maybe other classes. So, yeah.
Yeah, but we're in game 2, and so we have a Druid against Paladin, and you know, I main both classes, and from my experience, I really like playing Paladin against the Druid, just because there are so many ways to disrupt, you know, the big minions from Druid. Aldor Peacekeeper is a great minion in this matchup. Keeper of the Growth is great against his, you know, main finishers like Tyrion, and even if they innervate something early, you can, you know, equality and you know, just trade it with a token. So the things that make Druid great, you know, I feel like the Paladin counters them quite well, actually.
So where's your good Paladin answers against the early Emperor?
Yeah, that's a well. There's an owl, so
But it still makes the curve of the druids so strong because it's basically playing the Emperor, even though you waste 2 innovates and a coin,
yeah, but
you
here
also
now,
get the innovate back like it. Yeah.
I think it will be fine because he only get 1 trigger and only on 2 cards. So, I mean, I don't think you trade here just because you can force him into a hero power next turn, or trade himself. But
The thing about Druid getting an early Emperor out, it's not as strong as a mid-game Emperor in any other control deck. Just because getting it out early wastes so many cards of your hand, and the less cards you have in your hand, the weaker the effect of it gets.
yeah, now he only has a 1/3 minion, which basically does nothing. It will just scratch the Paladin surface. There's this is a problem, as you said, I have with this play. It feels awesome, like turn 2 Thorison, but then the good thing about Thorison is actually getting these cards reduced. And if you play only 2 cards, pretty much on curve, because a turn earlier of Druid of the Cloud didn't really do anything here. I mean, it was diffused pretty easily, but still, the Druid is packing a lot of damage. But I think ultimately the Paladin will stabilize here because he has Sylvanas coming next turn, and then there's Tyrion, and he already wasted 1 Keeper of the Grove.
The thing is, after such a big early innovate play, you need the Ancient of Lore, and there it is.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect draw. If you don't get an Ancient of Lore as a follow-up to such an innovate play, you're just running out of cards. You need to get the card draw in to get back into the game, and now he dealt quite a lot of damage by now, and getting into combo range for Paladin is a real problem here.
Yeah, he really needs to stay alive until Tyrion, and I assume that he will be... Okay, this is something... Oh, yeah, he'll try to ping the Ancient of War and trade in, but not really gonna happen. Let's see what he... No, that's decent.
He kind of has the board now.
Oh god, oh... Is
That's
this...
the Force of Nature already.
Oh, he's...
Yeah, it's
So
still not
close
deep
to
yet.
little, so close to little.
He could go all in, like...
Yeah, I think he will charge here just because he knows that turn 7 only Sludge Belcher can really screw you over. That there's, that Tyrion won't be coming, so you take a gamble.
And he goes for it.
Yeah, it's a good move overall. So what does the Paladin do now? Oh, this is a draw.
Cockhammer is a really interesting card to play, and like
Oh yeah,
the
absolutely.
control Paladin. And the taunt is really huge here. Like, the Druid needs to draw into combo now,
Yep.
or he keeps falling behind, like against the Tyrion, which is a real problem. Sylvanas could help, but the problem with Sylvanas against Paladin is always they produce the dudes, and if it's behind the taunt, you can't deal with it.
Yep.
So there's always the chance of stealing the token instead.
I mean, Neilyo has to trade here, basically, in order to not lose his Tyrion, and this is what he's going to do. Oh, okay.
That's okay for him. Yeah.
I think he'll definitely drop Tyrion here, and he should not trade at all with the hammer. Just go face, because either way, otherwise you're risking a swipe to the face. But he knows that.
Exactly.
So, as I said, the Paladin. If Paladin actually stabilizes, it's really hard to push through him, especially when he has all the tones. And a lot of threats will be coming. Sylvanas will probably come next, or he might consider consecrating here. Oh, he will definitely consecrate here just to clear the shade.
Yeah.
But it's,
The thing is, also can't clear the whole board, which again, here he has to decide either he plays around combo or Force of Nature, or around swipe.
yeah, I think he'll just trade here, but But this is going to be game, actually.
Yeah, that's like the decision. If he plays around Force of Nature or around Swipe, because he could have taken it to his face and then survived with 2 HP, and that way we would have still stayed in the game.
Yeah, so this will be 1-1, and
Yeah.
we'll go into the third game. So Druid gone from Exclusiveeee and Rogue gone from Neilyo.
Now Exclusive has Mage and Warlock left.
Against so it will be, okay, let's see if this is hand lock. Oh, it's Void Terror Zoo.
Yeah, like the newer zoos all aren't that heavy into the early game as they used to be, but like bounce more towards the mid game with stuff like Void Terror. Some play Dr. Boom.
Yeah, some play Sea Giant, as we see. Oh, it's really mid-range because we see Defender of Argus, and it's a high curve. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So it's. But there's good draws and good start for Neilyo here. He has his Consecration, and he has his Hammer.
And the mini bot is so strong to contest the early drops like the Knife Juggler. We also see Morganis in his deck, so it's more likely just a Demon Lock.
Yeah. But so many answers. I mean, Aldor is in the hand, Big Game Thunder is in the hand. He's getting a perfect curve. I mean, he will protect the Hammer here and probably even trade here. Oh no, he's going to the face. Okay. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's no point in proccing even more damage. Like killing the Creeper is always making out of 1 damage 2 damage. So he could have the clear with Consecration here and keeps his mini-bot alive, but I doubt that's the play because he's always afraid of White Collar just dropping out something huge he can't deal with yet. Even though he has the BGH, which is really strong against this kind of...
He's playing Bane of Doom as well. While he's getting into the void.
Wow.
Oh, this is really good actually.
The thing is, he doesn't have a second demon at the moment, and if he does the trade, he's gonna lose to the BGH.
Yeah. I mean, but you have to play it, right? You cannot just count. Okay, he won't, just play around Big Game Thunder without knowing if it's in the hand, because the more time passes, the more chances there are for Big Game Hunter to actually be drawn. So the earlier you Void Color a big demon, the better, because what happens if there's no Big Game Hunter? You basically win from there.
Thing is also, I think it's not that bad for him to lose this Morganis here for BGH, because he just has 2 other BGH targets in his hand. Like the Dr. Boom and the Sea Giant are gonna be so strong if the Paladin doesn't get an answer to it. Does he think about not using the BGH here? Does he just hovered over the Loafer? I think the BGH is just too strong to pass out on it.
Yeah.
And I think he's not sure about if he's gonna kill the Void Caller after or not, because if it just swings in another demon, it's gonna be so far behind.
Yeah, but even though Big Game Hunter is gone, actually he has ways to deal with BGH easy, because he can just trade into it, as we see. And for the Sea Giant, he will have an Outdoor Peacekeeper, and he has his own Dr. Boom. So even though he kind of shot this Mal'Ganis in the head, he still has answers for the big threats. And the Demon Lock is kind of running out of options. We say judging by both hands. Yeah, he'll play the Sea Giant here. This is actually an amazing opportunity to consecrate here and then pacify the Sea Giant. I think this is what he'll do. Maybe if he's lucky, he'll even get some nice bomb heads. he'll just develop the board more instead of casting Consecration, which I think is a fair thing to do. Do you think he's keeping the Consecration to get an equality combo ultimately for even more big threats potentially? Something like maybe Jaraxxus or big Void Color in this case?
I think as long as he doesn't have he had a kind of efficient board clear, so I think it was okay to keep it. And there's always stuff like Implosion and similar things and that's what he keeps it for. I felt like it was interesting that he traded his boom into the 1/8 because the 1/8 doesn't do that much and he could have dealt a lot of pressure with just going face there.
So
I think he plays it really passive. But I guess
it's okay.
That's
I
the
guess.
correct thing.
Yeah, as a paladin, you're not really in a hurry for anything.
And there's the Consecration that feels so much better.
Yeah. Oh god, he will clear so much. I mean, Doomguard will come up, but he has answers for it. He can drop Sylvanas easy, and he's at 25 health. So the Demon Guard, even though is scary, it's not really an imminent danger of his hit points.
Yeah. It's not like the Warlock can already rush down, and by not playing the Argus, it's really good against the Consecration. Keeping it was a good call there.
So I guess Sylvanas is the play, right?
Yeah. It just contests the Doomguard so well. And you're also threatening lethal soon.
The games they're really quick. I mean, last week we had some prolonged games, even if they finished 3-1 semifinals. The guys are here are playing pretty fast and okay, I do not agree with this at all.
It's a strong turn for him, and I think he's afraid of dying, so that's why he went for
Sure,
that.
but now he can, get Kel'Thuzad and trade his Sylvanas, get another Sylvanas, see what he steals.
Yeah, but if he loses the 50-50 to steal the opponent's Sylvanas, it will be really this could turn out really bad.
Okay, so Kel'Thuzad will take. Oh well, okay. These Rubenets are not really good at all this side of the game. So this will be game for Neilyo. It's up 2-1 for him.
Yep.
So what other deck does he have left? I think you said
Now we at least know what kind of... Oh, do we know what deck he has left?
I was going to check, but we're just starting, so we'll see. Okay, so it's Mage. What kind of Mage? I don't know. Okay, so it's Frost Mage against Demon Lock. And man, I've been playing so much Frost Mage recently, and it's super interesting to play against Zoo. People say it's hard matchup for Frost Mage just because a lot of its minions are really sticky, like Haunted Creeper and Nerubian Egg, and the Void Color spawns another minion and whatnot and whatnot. The Imp Gang boss also multiplicates. But if you actually know the matchup by heart, and if you navigate it properly, you can get a win maybe 60% of the time, but it's really, really difficult.
He also already has the important card, which is the Doomsayer. If he gets a good Doomsayer off against this deck, he's in a really favored position. And in most positions you don't even need Alexstrasza because
Yep.
the Warlock is gonna tap himself down. And you can maybe get to use your Alexstrasza defensively at some point.
Most of the time you do actually. You just want to heal yourself up because the zoo will put a lot of pressure. But he's actually I'm a huge fan of playing Doomsayer like on turn 2, just because if you don't have Frost Nova, which he does now, it's really hard to keep him alive on the board because of stuff like Implosion. Or Defenders of Argus, or stuff like Abusive Sergeant, which can buff the Zoom minions and get an easy trade. But we know that this will be a good clear with Doomsayer and Frost Nova, unless there's like an owl coming in or something like this. Yeah, it's his only play. Yeah.
Such a strong turn for him.
Yeah. And turn 6, like, this is such a pleasure to play actually, a full board clear into Torison, or the Russian, as people like to call it nowadays apparently. And Torison man makes Frost Mage so much stronger than before, and it's no surprise it's one of the strongest decks even on ladder right now, and it's actually a pretty hard deck to play.
That's also the number one thing if you have the Frost Nova Doomsayer to keep the board clear, so you can play the Emperor into the empty board, and wow, a bad roll for the Implosion here. That's a huge problem for the Warlock player.
He already has so much damage. There's a Frostbolt and a free Ice Lance and a Fireball. And even one Emperor trigger is big enough, and the moment you get 2, it's absolutely huge. I mean, there's 7-man Alexstrasza now. So, is this lethal, actually? It is, right? Yep. Because there's Frostbolt, Ice Lance, and you can do it because it's fucking cheap.
You got the Ice Lance off the top, so it is lethal.
Yep. Frost Mage, guys. Play it on ladder. Learn how to play it, this will win you a lot of games.
It's really strong at the moment.
Okay, he's just trolling.